Squats on the Bowflex Blaze are not easy. It took me a lot of consulting the manual and going back and forth and trial and error to actually figure out how you hook up your bar and your cables and all these attachments and stuff. And in this video, I'm going to show you what I learned, how to do it, and then we're going to get into a quick routine or a quick circuit of squats where we're going to do 6 sets in total. 3 front squats, 3 back squats, 35 seconds on, 35 seconds off. So join me for this, and we're going to start out by looking at all of our attachments. The first thing you're going to need is your squat bar. The squat bar is the straight bar that has these pads, and then there's these gaps here where you can then slide in these loops. So this loop here will just slide onto the end, and right here, this is where you're going to clip on your weight. So nice thing about these little spaces here is it gives you a nice spot to firmly lock in your resistance. There's no chance that it's just going to slide out from underneath you and cause an injury or something. So the next thing you're going to need are these extenders. So the reason for that is your cable here that's attaching to your squat pulley is only about 3 feet long. So unless you're about, 4 feet tall, this cable is going to be too short for you and you need some way to extend it. And that's where these extension cables come in. So I've got mine here. You can see I've got it set up to basically add about 18 inches of height to my cables. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to take this end here and I am just going to hook it up to my carabiner clip. So I've got that clipped into my bottom carabiner here, and then you can see I've also got that clipped onto my weight up here. And then another piece of advice I have is there's this extra loop down here. I thought this was for actually attaching to the bar. It's not. This is kind of like your slack, and having this loop here, if you just throw it on the bar as well, that kind of keeps it out of the way so you're not getting tangled up in all your cables and cords. So the last thing you might want is a towel, and the reason for that is sometimes squats you have the weight kind of on your shoulders or on your back, and it can be a little uncomfortable. So if you just throw a towel on there or a pad or something, that's going to make it a lot softer and easier to hold in place. So we're all set up here with all of our cables and cords and attachments and stuff, and now let's get into our circuit. I've got my bar all racked up and I've got all my cables in position and everything, but before I add any weight, we're going to talk about our form, and there's going to be a couple links in the description if you want to learn more about form for squats and free weights. Now I've kind of adapted what I can for the Bowflex here, and this is a key one where you really don't want to have bad form because you can hurt your back or your knees, and so form is really important here, and that's why we're going to start out with just some body weight squats. So to get things started, I'm going to have my feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Basically, I'm right on both sides of the plates here. And I am standing on this plate, which I'll be using, which is important when you're actually adding weight for your squats. And so for next thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to put my hands straight out in front of me. And then I am going to drop. So basically now I'm sitting on the crossbar there as I go. And so as I do this, there's a couple key things you want to look at. The first is you don't want to be leaning forward where you have a big bend at your ankle and your knees, because that's going to put a lot more pressure both on your knees, but also on your lower back. And those are common spots where you could get hurt doing squats. So again, I got my arms straight out and I'm trying to almost have my legs or my shin be straight up and down. I think I have a little bit of a forward lean, not much, that's all right though. So the next thing, breathing with bodyweight squats. A good way to think about it is, let's say you have, you're standing in a pool of water and the water is just below shoulder height. You want to take a deep breath in before you drop down, hold it, and then exhale when you get to the top. So inhale, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, and exhale. So we're just going to be doing a few of these, and make sure you feel comfortable doing those before you add weight. So I've got about 80 or 90 pounds of power rods racked up on my machine, and I'm going to get into actually adding weight here. When the clock hits 0, we're going to be doing it. So I also have a towel, which I like throwing on my neck here. And now I'm going to sit down on my crossbar here, and we're going to lift the bar over our head, get in position, And now we're gonna press up. So I'm all in my squat position here. And now let's go. So we're gonna do this for 35 seconds. It's probably enough for about 10 or 12 squats. Go nice and slow and steady. Think about where your knees are. And you should almost be sitting down on the crossbar every time you go down. And that crossbar is kind of nice because it kind of gives you some nice assurance that, you know, if you can't get the bar up, that worst case, you end up, you know, seated rather than on the ground or something. So we got our first set in. We're gonna do another set just like that, back squats with the bar behind our back. And then we're gonna do some front squats after this here. So again, I get that bar in position. Let's get standing up. Now let's squat. Nice and slow and steady. Now, if you don't own a Bowflex and you're thinking about getting a Bowflex for squats, I'm not sure I'd recommend it. It depends if you have a lot of experience with squats. If you're used to squatting, you know, 200 pounds or something, you are going to be disappointed with the resistance. But for a lot of people, a body weight squat or a body weight with, you know, an extra 100 pounds or so is a good spot to be at. So anyway, so our next lift here is going to be a front squat. And for this, it's going to be just like the back squat, except you're going to have the handles in front of you. And I like holding them like I just did a bicep curl. And then I'm just going to squat down just like this. And so you'll notice I'm trying to keep my back straight as I go through these. And I'm basically sitting down in a chair, not all the way though, and then lifting back up. All right. So another little break here. And we're going to go into another set. So we're doing 6 sets in total, 35 seconds on, 35 seconds off. And our next set is going to be just another set of front squats. All right, 10 seconds. So let's get in position. Let's get it like we just curled up that weight. Now I'm going to stand up. And here we go. Again, you shouldn't really feel any sort of pain points in your body. And if you do, I would focus on starting out with body weight squats and really focusing on your form and slowly adding resistance. We're not competing with anybody here. You don't want to get hurt because getting hurt is about the exact opposite of what we're trying to accomplish here. We're trying to feel better, get stronger. If you get hurt, that's about the worst thing that could happen, because you're really setting yourself back then instead of putting yourself in a better spot than you started. So, all right, towel again, going on my back, and we're doing some back squats again. Lift this bar above our head, and then we're going to stand up. Now let's get in position, and we're going to squat. Got 15 more seconds, and then we got one more set of front squats. All right, final set coming up here. Don't need the towel for our front squats. This felt easy in the first set, not so easy anymore. So keep pushing yourself, get through this last set. Focus on your form and your breathing. Let's get in position. Let's go. Now, personally, I like front squats on this machine a lot better than back squats. I feel like there's a lower risk of injury because you're not lifting the bar above your head, and there's also a little bit less tension on your back. And so this is my preference here. And that's going to do it. I know my timer says I have a couple more sets. I'm not sure what's up with that, but that is it for this circuit here. If this is your last circuit of the day, please rack up your resistance, and please give this video a like. Those things really help me out. Comment below, you know what to do. And as always, be good yourself, be good to others. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.